Hey guys, let's make a deal. If Part 1 and Part 2 get a combined total of 1,000 views, we will drop the prequel. That's right, there is a prequel. So if you would like to see how all this started, then start watching and get the views high. And remember, share, like, and subscribe to the recap flashback. When she happily tells the others, they react with hostility and decide to lock the door to their compartment to prevent the group from entering. With the door locked, Yongguk attempts to break it open, while Seok-woo and Sung-hwa struggle to keep the zombies from entering on the other side. Realizing that there isn't enough time, Sung-hwa tells Seok-woo to take care of his wife and leave him behind to distract the zombies. Seok-woo tearfully apologizes and lets go of the door, dragging Suan and Seong-kyung towards the barricaded door. Before he is consumed, Sung-hwa manages to tell his wife the name he chose for their unborn son. The locked door is broken down and the survivors pile into the compartment safely. There is a second door inside the compartment which they close, although In-gil is not fast enough, and she is eaten. Realizing that Sung-hwa and In-gil could have survived as well if the group hadn't barricaded the door, Seok-woo angrily punches Yeon-suk and demands to know why he did such a thing. Unwilling to answer, Yeon-suk lies to the others and insists that Seok-woo and his allies are infected. Instilling fear inside the initial group that barricaded the door, they force Seok-woo and the group that just entered the compartment, now joined by Jin-hee, into the hallway between their compartment and the conductor's car. Once they are forced out, Yeon-suk and the others use their neckties and shirts to tie down the knob and prevent them from coming back in. Jong-gil, still shocked and silent from seeing her sister die needlessly, notices In-gil's face in the crowd of zombies in the door window. She tells her infected sister that she lived a long and fulfilling life and realizes that the compartment group's actions have led to her sister's death. Out of anger and defeat, Yong-gil opens the door, allowing the zombies to flood the safe compartment. The survivors inside the hallway can only watch as the group is eaten inside the compartment. They see shadows of the passengers desperately clawing at the door they just barricaded in a cruel twist of events. The conductor receives a radio notification that Busan has succeeded in holding off the zombie infection. However, as they approach a station before Busan, the train is cut off by debris on the track. The conductor informs the remaining survivors on the train over the speaker that he will find another train on an unblocked track to drive to Busan and that they should follow him, but wishes them luck, as they will have to exit the train and survive crossing the zombie-filled tracks. He exits his cockpit and finds an empty path, successfully discovering a cargo train. He starts it up and begins going down the track towards Busan, searching for survivors on the tracks. Seok-woo and the others exit the train, and unbeknownst to them, Yeon-suk has survived the horde of zombies in the compartment by hiding in the bathroom. He also hears the conductor's announcement and fights his way out of the compartment, but several zombies continue chasing him as he gets off. Meanwhile, Seok-woo's group is making their way to the cargo train. Suddenly, a burning freight car rushes towards them, and Jin-hee and Yong-guk are separated from the group when the runaway freight rams into the cars of a nearby train, which falls and blocks their path. They go into one of the next train cars to cross over to the other side through the door, not noticing that Yeon-suk, who is being chased by a zombie, is following them. Yeon-suk enters the car and throws Jin-hee behind him, sacrificing her to the zombie. Yong-guk fights the zombie off and collapses to the ground, cradling the spasming Jin-hee in his arms. Yeon-suk ignores them and manages to pry the door open and runs towards the cargo train. As Jin-hee chokes and begins to turn, Yong-guk begins to cry, asking why fate had to be like this. He apologizes to Jin-hee for not telling her how he felt about her, as she fully turns and consumes his face and throat. Yeon-suk runs towards the cargo train, but twists his ankle on the tracks. The conductor rushes off the car to help, but Yeon-suk betrays him and throws him aside to the zombies like he did with Jin-hee. He ignores the conductor's screams for help as he boards the train alone. Meanwhile, the homeless man, Suan, Seok-woo, and Seong-kyung are on the other side of the wreckage, trapped under a train full of zombies. The windows of the train threaten to collapse at any moment. Seok-woo finds an opening under the train and begins to climb under it, but a part of the train collapses and seals the hole before the other three can make it through. The impact also shatters a window, and a small group of zombies tumble out and crawl towards the three. However, the homeless man sacrifices himself to the zombies at the last minute, allowing enough time for Seok-woo to pull the debris away and for Seong-kyung and Soo-an to escape. They run towards the cargo train and get on the outdoor platform of it. Seok-woo approaches the cockpit but backs away when he sees Yeon-suk in the conductor's seat, milky-eyed and infected. He initially shuts the door, but Yeon-suk opens it in spite of being a zombie. The infection has not reached his brain. Yeon-suk approaches Seok-woo and begs him to take him home to Busan, speaking like a little boy and reciting his address and the name of his mother. Seok-woo tells him he is infected, and Yeon-suk is momentarily shocked and he weeps, but within seconds he is fully turned. Seok-woo begins to struggle with the zombified Yeon-suk and nearly falls off the ledge of the car. Soo-an screams on the other side of the car platform, which attracts Yeon-suk, and he attempts to attack Seong-kyung and Soo-an. However, Seok-woo intervenes, and his hand is severely bitten. He manages to throw Yeon-suk off the car, but notices his injury. Aware that he will turn very soon, he seats Soo-an and Seong-kyung in the cockpit and tells them how to use the brakes once they get to Busan Station. He then tries to leave the car, but Soo-an begs him to stay and reveals that on the day of her recital, she did not finish singing Aloha Oi because she didn't see Seok-woo in the audience. She had been saving the song for her father. The two have a tearful farewell, and Seok-woo holds Soo-an's small hands in his for a moment before throwing them aside and locking himself out of the cockpit. Soo-an begins to scream and cry for him to come back. As the infection spreads, Seok-woo sobs as he walks towards the end of the train car, clutching his bloody hand. Soo-an continues to cry for him inside the cockpit as Seong-kyung tries to hold her back. He slowly approaches the back of the train car, fighting the infection, and begins thinking of when Soo-an was an infant. Recalling his happiest memories of cradling her and holding her small fingers and toes, as he did in the cockpit before, the infection takes hold, his eyes going white and veins going dark. However, in spite of being fully zombified, Seok-woo continues thinking of Soo-an, and he smiles happily towards the sky before falling off the car and onto the tracks. It is left ambiguous as to whether this was due to his body spasming or him jumping off the car in an act of suicide to keep Soo-an and Seong-kyung safe. The train car finally arrives at the tunnel leading to Busan Station. However, the track is blocked off with debris. The two exit the car and begin walking down the tunnel, not aware that they are being watched on the other side by the Busan military. One of the snipers reports their approach to his superior and is told to shoot them down, as they cannot tell in the dark whether they are infected or not. Just as the sniper is about to pull the trigger, Soo-an begins to mournfully sing Aloha Oi to rally the exhausted Seong-kyung to walk to the end of the tunnel. Hearing her song, the soldiers realize they are not infected and rush to their aid. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this recap. What movie would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments. Share, like, and subscribe, and click the bell icon so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Again, thank you for watching the Recap Flashback.